What's up guys, Nathan here. As much as I can appreciate a solid, reliable League starter list, that's not what I'm personally interested in. For me, Path of Exile is about playing a fun build, regardless of whether I kill Shaper on day 1 of the League or day 10. And what could be more fun than getting up close and personal to beat the living out of your enemies? Luckily, with the advent of Legion, we don't have to choose between playing either a fun or strong build. 3.7 brings a massive overhaul to the balance and mechanical feel of all melee skills, so now is a better time than ever to grab your two-handed axe and carve your way through the game. Today's builds are a compilation of some of the most long-standing and dependable guides from the forums. It's hard to say exactly which skills will be the strongest options going into Legion, but I made choices based on their traditional performance, the degree of their buffs, and the reliability of their guide writers. If you're looking for a starter list that includes some of the newer skills, give me another day or two, as I'll be putting out a more experimental list once we get access to the gem data. So, without further ado, let's jump into the video. The first build I have for you today is a bit of a curveball, but I'm confident that the sweeping changes to melee will allow this option to really shine. Bright Waha's Heavy Strike Stun build. You can either play this build as a Berserker or Slayer, and as the name implies, it focuses on stunning everything. This includes normal packs of monsters, tanky map bosses, and even Shaper himself. Unless the enemy is immune, this build will stun it. Another reason why I chose this build is because Bright Waha is committed to keeping it updated. Since 3.7's patch notes, he's already released significant analysis on the buffs to his build, and he even has a custom simulation program for calculating stun. If you want to play a unique and powerful build that heavily benefits from the melee buffs, look no further. The next build is dear to my heart, as it was pretty much the first build guide I ever followed. Awfuck's Crimson Cyclone Slayer. While the build hasn't been officially updated since 3.4, Awfuck has already said he plans on coming back to it. Cyclone Slayer is one of the most iconic Path of Exile builds for good reason. It has decent clear speed and boss damage, as well as monstrous survivability via Slayer Leech. It also gives off huge Whirlwind Barbarian vibes from Diablo, so it's the no-brainer choice for anyone looking to capitalize on that nostalgia. Awfuck's version of the build is pretty much everything I think it thematically should be. It's purely physical, maims and bleeds enemies, and boasts high life leech. It rips through normal and magic packs, ignores most map mods, and uses Bane of Legends to delete bosses as soon as they hit 20% life. The only downside of this build is it isn't the fastest Cyclone in the world, but I'm confident that the mechanical changes to this skill will make it feel fantastic, whether you're a Raider, Chieftain, or anything in between. The third build I have for you today is one that everyone has been talking about. Tectonic Slam Chieftain. Sadly, there aren't any guides up yet that I think are specifically catered to the new strengths of this build, so I instead chose to include a few options for you guys to work with. Firstly, I chose to create my own path of building PASTEBIN. It's heavily invested in damage and area of effect, and I chose to focus on the two-handed mace, Kongor's Undying Rage, as an easy means of ignoring accuracy and giving players a chance to try out the new slower-hitting playstyle that is supposedly going to be more viable. I should mention, I didn't go all out with planning the gem setups and gear for this build, but the skill tree should be able to get you started. I'm mostly waiting on the gem data, as the new Pulverize, Rage, and Berserk gems could easily find their way into this build. The second Tectonic Slam guide I'm featuring is Kira 1414's Chieftain/Berserker. The build is not specifically oriented toward Tectonic Slam, but it has a ton of fantastic information for anyone interested in playing with fire conversion. The last option is Rake's Tectonic Slam Equipment Guide. While this guide is more geared towards Juggernaut and Champion, the information here is still super useful in helping you make decisions about how you want to play the skill. Rake is currently updating the guide though, so keep an eye out for when he inevitably adds a new section for players interested in trying out Chieftain. The fourth build I have for you today will probably fly under most people's radars, but is receiving absurd buffs in 3.7, and that is Parry the Pig's Shattering Steel Champion. The guide itself is extremely well written, and the amount of reasons to play this build are nearly endless. For starters, Shattering Steel was buffed, even though that skill already had stupid single target damage. Next, it got a handful of new potential gem options, including auras, support gems, and a number of defensive tools. Lastly, dozens of new powerful nodes were added to the tree, giving you nearly endless ways to further scale your damage. The downside of this build is its mechanics are kind of unintuitive, and Path of Building struggles to accurately calculate its DPS. Luckily, its creator is a regular streamer who is more than willing to answer your questions, so if you need help with the build, be sure to check him out at twitch.tv/parrythepig. The last build I have for you today is another hot choice people are talking about: Lacerate Gladiator. Similarly to Tectonic Slam, I have a couple of options for you to follow. First of all, we have Lockdeck123's forum guide. The main benefits of this build is that it's budget friendly, has high evasion from using Dream Feathers, and is being actively theory crafted to support the buffs to Gladiator in 3.7. The second option I have for you is another one of my own creations. The updated version of my On's Might Lacerate Gladiator I made in Incursion. Again, it's difficult to make decisions on what are the best support gems to use until we get the gem data, but I'm confident that the addition of all the physical-based auras, as well as the new blood and sand stance interactions with Lacerate, will make this build a fantastic League starter. Just follow the Path of Building pastebin linked in the description below, and feel free to ask questions in the comments or in my Discord as necessary. Anyway guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you're as excited to play Melee as I am, but if this list still wasn't enough for you, keep an eye out for my experimental League starter video once we get gem data and a fully updated Path of Building. This has been Nathan, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you!
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed my second League starter video. I can tell you right now I'm even more excited to make my third League starter video. I just kind of would like to sleep because I haven't done a lot of that. Anyway, let me thank my Patreon supporters who are Real Human, Pete, Zikarak, Squally, Zoljin, Coda, Julia, Alan, Kepler, Fusk, Putzak, Ori, and Heiser801. Not 808, because I said that wrong for 2 videos in a row. Sorry, Max, my bad. Yikes. Anyway, you guys can also follow me on Instagram, Nathan Walker YT, I guess. And then you can also check me out on Patreon at patreon.com/NathanBrotherBob if you want to give me money for no reason. Anyway, thank you so much. This has been Nathan. Nothing's changed. Good luck in Legion, and see you soon.